Biden administration's anti-American approach has let down my constituents. For the past 2 years, Hoosiers in Southwest and West Central Indiana have experienced high energy costs. I represent rural America, which has some of the same issues that urban America is experiencing. These high costs have impacted businesses across my district, farmers, manufacturers, electricity providers, and small businesses on Main Street. They've all paid the price of the Biden administration's flawed approach to energy. Who's affected the most? Low-income individuals and seniors on a fixed income. One of the things that people tell me all the time, and my staff, is that abundant, reliable energy supply here in the United States is critical for their lives to keep costs down, not only just the energy directly, but all the indirect costs, as we've heard today, whether it's agriculture or other costs. So, we need a different approach. I want to ask Mr. Eshelman, can you address this situation that they're always talking about from the administration about, there's all these permits out there, 9,000 permits, and you addressed this some, but can you kind of give us maybe a flow chart of, okay, you got this permit, but you mentioned some of this, all the other things that they're doing in the regulatory space that are actually preventing American energy production. I think that's one of the key things that their message is, look, it's you all, it's not us. There's permits. Can you address that?
Right. So the federal government, the federal leasing program is basically mandated. They have to open up lands to oil and natural gas drilling. It's a multiple use mandate, just that they have to open it up to recreation and agriculture. But the process is a very long one for energy production. It can take years. We have to have a lease sale, we have to bid on it, we have to do a lot of environmental reviews. So just getting a permit that's not the end-all be-all. There are so many other things that we need to do within, like I said, environmental reviews. But there are roadblocks that the federal government keeps putting in place to stop this development of federal lands. For example, the Endangered Species Act. They could very well, a few months ago, they came out and said, we're going to classify the lesser prairie chicken as an endangered species. They do this with beetles and bats as well. So they're making it very difficult through other means to halt these permits and any sort of development on federal lands and private lands across America. These roadblocks are extreme. It's very obvious to us that this administration has done nothing to encourage oil and natural gas production in this country, and they've done everything they can to discourage it. So yes, just to say we have permits is a mischaracterization.
And can you also address this? It's something I'm really worried about, is what this cumbersome regulation is doing in discouraging your members from investing in and developing new technology, innovation and technology. Is this climate putting up barriers to the industry advancing new technology?
The technologies used by the domestic oil and natural gas industry are something that I once heard Vice President Cheney say rival that of NASA, in fact. The technology we use rivals that of NASA. They're going out of Earth to look for things, and we're going in the Earth to look for things. So our technology is extremely valuable to us, but we're consumers as well. So we rely on those microchips from overseas, and if there's some sort of a supply chain issue with getting those, then we will be affected, and our production will be halted to some extent. Technology, we are a very high-tech industry, as I mentioned, and we rely on that technology to do things that we've never done before, such as hydraulic fracturing. We've all heard about fracking. That's a technology that's developed and allowed us to reduce our footprint on lands. What used to take maybe 10 wells or rigs to drill for oil or natural gas now might take 2. So it's technology has helped us in a very important environmental way as well as the production side of things.
Well, thank you, and I'm running out of time, but I just want to say that, this is the beginning of House Republicans on the Energy and Commerce Committee exploring the things that Congress can do to improve this situation for all of you all. And I very much appreciate your input today at this roundtable. Thank you very much. I yield.
Thank you, gentlemen.